Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's Consumer Studies revision lesson. My name is Lillian Dube, and this lesson is brought to you by the Northern Cape Department of Education in collaboration with Pagama Research and Development. Right, learners, today we want to revise for our prelim exams. Since we are writing very soon, we should be prepared to answer almost all the questions that you are given. And remember, as I have always reminded you, please do not leave the multiple choice questions blank. Always make sure you put an answer. Even if you don't know, just put an A or make a guess, put an A, put a B or whatever. Right, so question 1 says, various options are provided as possible answers to the following question. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question number. Right, so our 1.1.1 says dash can possibly lead to hyperactivity in children. Right, we've got tyrosine, we've got sulfur dioxide, we've got antioxidants and emulsifiers, right? Then our 1.1.2 says, which of the following foods contains hydrogenated fat? A, olive oil, B, butter, C, block margarine, and D, canola oil. Right? Our 1.1.3 says the cost of maize meal increased by 43.7% between April 2022 and April 2023. The price increase could have a serious negative impact on A, food imports, B, genetically modified foods, C, organic foods, and D, food security. Right? Then we go to 1.1.4 says a highly contagious viral disease that attacks the liver is A, dysentery, B, tuberculosis, C, E. coli, and D, hepatitis A. Right? 1.1.5 says identify the food additive which changes the original color of flour. A, stabilizers, B, colorants, C, bleaches, and D, emulsifiers. Right, we go to 1.1.6. The following emblem informs us that the food is A, organic, B, irradiated, C, genetically modified, and D, sustainable. Right, we go to 1.1.7. The formal agreement between the buyer detailing the terms and conditions of the sale of property is A, offer to purchase, B, a deed of sale, C, a mortgage bond. Right, and then 1.1.8 says transfer duties on a fixed property is paid to A, SARS, B, property agent, C, the seller, and D, the bank. Right? Then we go to 1.1.9. A fee is paid monthly to the body corporate for maintenance of the building and common areas and security. Right? A rent, that's A, B, levy, C, interim rates, and D, administration fees. Right, we go to 1.1.10 says lack of dash limits the recycling of textiles in South Africa. A, technology and equipment, B, space to store recyclable waste, C, non-recyclable resources, and D, recyclable material. Right, learners, I'll give you about 2 minutes to answer the multiple choice questions, and then we can go to the solutions. Right, welcome back, learners. Our 1.1.1, we said dash can possibly lead to hyperactivity in children. So tartrazine actually can lead to hyperactivity in children. Remember, tartrazine is the food additive that gives color to food. For example, some crisps as well as some juices, so it gives color to food. So tartrazine could cause hyperactivity in children, right? And then number 1.1.2, which of the following foods contain hydrogenated fats? So our answer here is block margarine. Remember, margarine is made using the hydrogenation process. Hydrogenation. That is a gas is pumped into oil at room temperature so that it becomes solid. So the process is called hydrogenation, right? And then 1.1.3 says the cost of maize meal increased by 43.7% between April 2022 and April 2023. The price increase could have a serious negative impact on what? On food security, which means we will no longer be secure when it comes to food, right? And then 1.1.4 says a highly contagious viral disease that attacks the liver, we call it hepatitis A. And remember, the symptoms of hepatitis A, we said it's jaundice, right? When somebody has jaundice, you can tell through the yellowing of their eyes, right? Then 1.1.5 says identify the food additive which changes the original color of flour. So these are bleaches. So this is another food additive which is called bleaches. Flour is bleached so that it can mature before its time, right? Or so that it can be used instantly after milling. So they have to bleach it so that it turns white in color. And bleaching improves the elasticity of flour, right? And then 1.1.6 says the following emblem informs us that the food is irradiated, right? Irradiation is when waves are used to destroy microorganisms in food. For example, irradiation is used on spices. It is also used on processed meats so that they don't spoil easily. It is also used on fruits and vegetables so that they don't sprout quickly. For example, onions and potatoes are irradiated so that they can be transported from one area to another without getting spoiled or without sprouting on the way. So the process irradiation is used. Then 1.1.7 says the formal agreement between the buyer detailing the terms and conditions of the sale of a property is called the deed of sale agreement, right? So when somebody is selling a house, the buyer offers what you call a letter to purchase. So if the seller accepts the letter of purchase and signs everything, then it becomes a deed of sale agreement, right? Then 1.1.8 says transfer duties on a fixed property is paid to, we paid to SARS, right? SARS is South African Revenue Services. So transfer duties is a type of tax that is paid when you transfer your name or you transfer the name or the property from one person to another. Right, then 1.1.9 says a fee paid monthly to the body corporate for the maintenance of the building and common areas and security is called a levy. So people who buy sectional title houses pay a levy to the body corporate, right? What do we need the levy for? The levy is used for the maintenance of the common areas in the sectional title building or sectional title area. That is, the grounds outside need to be maintained. If there is a swimming pool, then they maintain it. If there is a boom gate, for example, townhouses are examples of sectional title houses. So if you live in a townhouse, maybe there is a security gate with a security guard maybe. So the levy is used to pay for the security of the whole area, right? And then our 1.1.10 says lack of dash limits recycling of textiles in South Africa. So technology and equipment limits recycling of textiles in South Africa. Right, let's go to the next question, which is our 1.2 says choose the foodborne disease in column A that matches the symptoms in column B and the treatment in column C. So it means we'll choose the foodborne disease, then look at the symptoms and then the treatment. So we're supposed to match, right? The first foodborne disease is hepatitis A. The other one is tuberculosis. The other one is E. coli infection. We have got dysentery and gastroenteritis. Right, and the symptoms, we've got A, acute diarrhea, cramps, nausea, and bloating, and B, dark urine, fever, and jaundice, and then C, bloody diarrhea, fever, vomiting, and abdominal pains, and D, diarrhea, mild fever, and vomiting, and then E, coughing, shortness of breath. Right, and then our treatment is numbered as 1, replace fluids lost through diarrhea, and 2, antibiotics, 3, drink plenty of water, 4, intensive and continuation phase treatment, and 5, avoid coffee, alcohol, and fatty food. Right, I'll also give you 2 minutes, learners, for you to complete the activity, and then we can go to our solutions. Right, welcome back, learners. The first foodborne disease is hepatitis A. Right, let's look for the symptoms of hepatitis A. There is the word jaundice there. Already I mentioned to you that the symptoms for hepatitis A is jaundice. So dark urine, fever, and jaundice are the symptoms of what? Of hepatitis A. Therefore, we put our B there, and then we go to the treatment. How do we treat hepatitis A? So avoid coffee, alcohol, and fatty food. So for hepatitis A, we match B and 5, right? Then tuberculosis, the symptoms, obviously, somebody who has got TB is coughing, and they also have got shortness of breath. And then the treatment, intensive and continuation phase treatment. So we have got E and 4, right? Then E. coli infection, right? Symptoms, usually it's diarrhea, mild fever, and vomiting. And how do we treat E. coli, right? You drink plenty of water. Sometimes you just need to have plenty of rest. There is no need to take any medication for the E. coli infection. You just need to drink plenty of water to replace the fluids that have been lost, and also get plenty of rest. Unless it becomes severe, then people might need what? Hospitalization. Right? Then we've got dysentery. Right. The symptoms, usually you've got diarrhea that has got blood. So please take note, E. coli and dysentery have got almost the same symptoms. But take note that when it comes to dysentery, the diarrhea has got some blood, right? So bloody diarrhea, fever, vomiting, and abdominal pain. So C, that's for the symptoms. And then treatment, this is where you use antibiotics, right? And then the last one is gastroenteritis, right? This is where you have an acute diarrhea, cramps, nausea, and bloating, right? So A for the symptoms, and then the treatment, you must also replace the lost fluids through the fluids that were lost through diarrhea. So drink plenty of fluids, right? And then we go on to our next question. 1.3 says, give one word for the following statements used in the fashion cycle. 1.3.1 says, interest in the fashion cycle is slowly decreasing. And then the fashion item is expensive and available from designers. In 1.3.3, the fashion item is mass-produced and cheaper. In 1.3.4 says the fashion item is not available in chain stores anymore. In 1.3.5 says more people get to know about the fashion item. I'm sure, learners, you still remember the fashion cycle, which goes like this. I'm not going to put the stages, but I'm just going to draw it. I'm sure this will remind you about the stages or the phases of the fashion cycle. So just take 2 minutes to answer these questions, and then we will go to the solutions. Welcome back, learners. Our 1.3.1 says interest in the fashion cycle is slowly decreasing. So the phase is called the decline phase. It's called the decline phase, right? I'll redraw it here. So this side should be the decline phase, right? And then the fashion item is expensive and available from designers. So this is the introduction. So the introduction goes there. I'll just write intro. And then 1.3.3 says the fashion item is mass produced and is cheaper. So it's on the peak stage, and the peak stage is right there at the top. right? And then the fashion item is not available in chain stores anymore. So it's called the obsolete stage. The obsolete comes there, right at the end. And then 1.3.5, more people get to know about the fashion item. We call it the rise. So the rise stage comes there, right? So let's go to the next question. 1.4 says, identify 4 correct statements in the list below regarding the consumption of non-human energy by household appliances, right? A says, a full refrigerator uses more electricity. B, induction hobs save more electricity. And C, microwave ovens are energy efficient. And D, spiral plates use more energy to heat than solid plates. Right? And then E, tumble dryers are energy efficient. Then we go to front loader washing machines are more energy efficient than the top loaders, right? And then 2 minutes, learners, so that we can go to our next question. Right, welcome back, learners. So the first one says a full refrigerator uses more electricity. Yes, this one is correct. Then B, induction hobs save more electricity. Yes, it's correct. And then microwaves are energy efficient. Yes, this one is correct. And then spiral plates use more energy to heat than solid plates. This one is not correct. And then tumble dryers are more efficient. It is not correct. And then front loader washing machines are more energy efficient than the top loaders. This is correct. Right? Let's go to our question 1.5 says, select 3 factors from the list below that influence the efficient production of quality products. Right? A, consumer appeal. B, customer relations. C, planning. D, reducing waste. E, stock control. And F, quality control. Right. So which of the following influence the efficient production of quality products? Right. Another 2 minutes for you to answer the questions, and then we can go to our solutions. Right, welcome back, learners. So, consumer appeal, no, it is wrong. Customer relations is wrong. And then planning is correct. So, when we plan, it actually influences the efficient production of quality products. So, when we plan, we've got long-term planning and short-term planning. When we decide what we should do in long term, this is when we say we will service our stoves after 3 months. Then short term planning, this is when we come up with a work schedule that on a Monday we'll produce so many pies, or at this particular time we'll get into the kitchen, start by maybe making this and that. So that is short term planning. Right? Then reducing waste is wrong. Stock control is correct. We take our stock so that we do not stop our production when we run out of what? Out of the raw materials. right? And then quality control is also correct, right? We always do quality control in or during the production of a product. We start by ordering quality ingredients, and then we also check quality control during production and also quality control during the packaging of the product, right? We go to question 2, says define the terms given below. We've got 2.1.1 says a guarantee. 2.1.3 says exemption clause, and 2.1.4 says cooling off period, right? Another 2 minutes for you to answer those questions, and then we can go to the solutions. Right, welcome back, learners. The first one is a guarantee, right? What is a guarantee? It is a promise in writing that the quality or durability of a product or service will meet certain standards, right? That's what a guarantee is. And then an exemption clause. Clauses in contracts that exonerate a party from any liability should they fail to honor an agreement, right? To exonerate, learners, is to clear. So it clears a party from any liability should they fail to honor an agreement, right? I'll give you one example of an exemption clause. You go to a parking area or a parking lot, then it is written park at your own risk. That's an exoneration or an exemption clause. They are saying they are not liable for any damages to your car. So that's an exemption clause, park at your own risk, right? And then another example of an exemption clause, no refund. In other shops, you find it's written in bold there, no cash refunds. So it means when you go back to them wanting a refund, they would never give it to you. So they are clearing themselves from any liability, right? And then the cooling off period says applies to transactions that resulted from direct marketing. Let's take note of direct marketing, whereby the customer did not start the transaction. So direct marketing is when people who are marketing their product approach us through emails, or they sometimes call us through our phones, or they do it in person. That is direct marketing. You haven't initiated that transaction yourself, but they approached you, right? So 5 business days are allowed to cancel the contract. So as a consumer, you are given 5 business days to cancel that contract that has been initiated through what? Through direct marketing. So this does not apply to services. Remember, when we talk about services, we are talking about maybe accommodation. That's a service. You have already used the accommodation. Then it means there is no way you can just get away with it. You have to pay for those days that you have used that particular accommodation, right? And then we go to 2.2 says read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow, right? Mr. Soli took out a cell phone contract with a local service provider, right? From the beginning, the cell phone did not work properly, right, he immediately returned the cell phone to the service provider, right? The service provider indicated that he should fix the cell phone himself because it has a no return policy is stated in the contract that he signed, right? And then we go to 2.2.1 says, identify the type of contract from the scenario, right? And then 2.2.2 says, identify the exemption clause stipulated in the contract, right? And then our 2.2.3 says, give Ms. Distoli advice on what to do before signing a contract, right? Another 2 minutes for you learners to answer 2.2.1 up to 2.2.3. Then we can go to the solutions. Right, welcome back, learners. 2.2.1 says, identify the type of contract from the scenario. So we call this an installment sales agreement. That's the type of contract. And then identify the exemption clause stipulated in the contract. So it is a no return policy. Right, and 2.2.3 says, give Ms. Distoli advice on what to do before signing a contract. Right, it says, read and understand the contract. So every time when we enter into agreement, you need to read and understand the contract before signing so that you know what exactly you are signing for. Right? And then have the contract read to you in a language that you understand. So sometimes the contract is written in English and some people might not even understand. So allow somebody or ask for them to give you an interpreter in the language that you understand. Right, then we go to 2.4. Read the case study and answer the questions that follow. Lulama bought video games from a shop that imports games, right, without the consent of the manufacturer. Right? 2.4.1 says, identify the type of import stated below. And then 2.4.2 says, discuss this type of import with regards to A, warranty, and B, legality. Right, another 2 minutes again so that we can go to our solutions. Right, welcome back, learners. We want to identify the type of import. So we call these gray goods or parallel import. Right, remember, gray goods are not illegal because they have paid the necessary duties. Only that they are imported through unauthorized channels, or they are distributed through unauthorized channels, but they pay the necessary duties. So it means that gray goods or parallel imports are legal, right? And then 2.4.2 discuss this type of import with regards to warranty, right? The warranty allows you to return the faulty goods to the seller to repair or replace them or get a full refund. So the whole idea here is that you cannot return the goods to the manufacturer. And sometimes when it comes to spare parts, you might discover that the seller does not even have the spare parts for parallel imports or for those gray goods. So whenever distributors are selling gray goods, they must write it on the goods that they are parallel imports. It must be written conspicuously to the consumer that these are gray goods. They must buy them knowing that they are gray goods, right? Then legality, the goods are not illegal, like I've said. The goods are not illegal as duties are paid. And a conspicuous notice, however, needs to be displayed on the goods so that the customer knows exactly what they are buying, right? And then we go to 2.5 says, name the types of scams listed below. 2.5.1 is scam a scam that sends fake emails pretending to be from the bank. And 2.5.2 is scam B. It's a scam that plays on your emotions and makes you believe you will receive a great deal of money. Right? And 2.5.3 is scam C, a scam which uses your personal information to open new accounts in your name. Right, learners? 2 minutes. Let's answer the questions and then we will go to the solutions. Right, welcome back. Scam A, we say it is a scam that sends fake emails. Please take note. When there's emails pretending to be from the bank, we call that phishing. That's the type of scam. And remember, the banks would always remind us that we would never send you an email that is asking you to update your details. So once you update your details on that fake mail, then it means whosoever sent you that mail has your details, your banking details, and they have access to your bank account, right? Then scam B, a scam that plays on your emotions and makes you believe you will receive a great deal of money. We call it the 419 scams. They actually play with your emotions, and sometimes they would actually tell you that you have won the lotto when you haven't even played it. So we call them 419 scams. And then scam C is a scam which uses your personal information to open new accounts in your name. We call that identity theft. So once they steal your identity, then those people can actually open credit cards or take your identity to do credit in shops. They would buy lots of stuff using your name, and then all you receive is what you are owing, yet you did not even buy those particular goods, right? We go to 2.6 says define the term stock fell. And 2.7 says explain why a pyramid scheme is illegal in South Africa. And 2.8 says explain why multi-level marketing is allowed or is legal in South Africa, right? I'll give you another 2 minutes to answer this one, and then we'll go to the answers. Right, welcome back. We all know about stokvels, right? So it says define the term stokvel. So a stokvel is the savings club or a group of people who pledge to pay regular contributions to a common fund which each member can benefit. So this is what we call a stokvel, right? And then 2.7 says explain why a pyramid scheme is illegal in South Africa. So pyramid schemes promise participants payments for enrolling other people onto the scheme. They do not supply any real investment or sell any product. So as you go through with the scheme, you'll discover that at one point the scheme would collapse. So only the people who started at the bottom are the only ones that benefit. And then as the pyramid goes up, it collapses. It means people have what? Have lost their monies. Right? And then 2.8 says explain why multi-level marketing is legal in South Africa. So multi-level schemes are legal schemes as they involve real products and income is derived from sales of those products, right? One example, learners, of multi-level marketing is Tupperware. People who sell Tupperware actually have something tangible that they are selling, and they actually get some income from the sales of those products. That's why it is legal in South Africa. Right? Then we go to 2.9, says identify the types of taxes payable on the following. Right? 2.9.1, tax paid by homeowners to their local municipality. And then 2.9.2, tax added to the value of goods and services. And 2.9.3, tax paid from the deceased estate. And 2.9.4 says tax deducted from an employee's income on a monthly basis. Right? I'll give you another 2 minutes again to answer this one. Right, welcome back, learners. Tax that is paid by homeowners to their municipality is called property tax. And then 2.9.2, tax that is added to the value of goods and services is called VAT. I'm sure we know about this one. It stands for value added tax. Right? And then tax paid from the deceased property is called estate duty. Right? So this is another type of tax. And then 2.9.4 says tax deducted from an employee's income on a monthly basis. We call it income tax, or sometimes is referred to as PAYE, that is pay as you earn. Right, learners? We go on to more taxes. Tax paid by homeowners to the local municipality. We have already answered this one. Then let's go on to the next question. Says explain the following terms, right? A, interest rate, B, repo rate, and C, fixed interest rates, right? 2 minutes, answer those, and then we'll go to the solutions. Right, welcome back, learners. Interest rate is the cost of borrowing money. So whenever you borrow money from the bank, there is an interest that is charged by the bank. So it is calculated and expressed as a percentage. For example, if you borrow money maybe from a machonisa, then they would charge you 50% of the amount. So if you've borrowed 1,000 rand, then it means the interest is how much? Is 500 rand. So when you give it back to machonista, you pay how much? 1,500. Right? And then we've got the repo rate. This is the interest rate at which commercial banks can borrow money from the Reserve Bank. So the repo rate actually affects the commercial bank's interest. So if the repo rate is higher, then it means the prime interest from the commercial banks will also go up. And then if the repo rate decreases, it also means that the prime interest rate from the commercial banks will decrease. Right? And then we've got what we call fixed interest rate. So it's the same amount of interest is charged throughout the duration of the loan. Hence, the word fixed. Something that is fixed is something that does not change. So the amount or the interest rate would remain the same throughout the loan until you are done with your payments. Right, learners? And then 2.11 says, describe the benefits of how compound interest works. And 2.1.2 says, explain the negative effects on that inflation has on consumers. Right? I'll just give you another 2 minutes for you to answer. Then we'll go to the solutions. Right, welcome back. We want to describe the benefits of how compound interest works. So with compound interest, should you be saving money that collects interest, this interest will be added to the principal amount. So if you are saving money, then it's to your benefit as the consumer. So this interest will earn interest on top of interest. The person will save money this way. Right? And then we go to our 2.1.2 says, explain the negative effect on inflation or effect inflation has on consumers. Right? How does inflation affect us as consumers? Right? The purchasing power of money is decreased, and it means consumers would purchase less goods and services. Right? Also, the decrease in the standard of living. The economy is not stimulated. So if we purchase less, then it means our standards of living have what? Have decreased. We keep cutting down on our groceries. We cut down on whatever we spend. Or sometimes if you don't cut down, then it means you no longer have savings put aside. So that's how inflation affects us as consumers. Right? Again, people on a fixed income actually feel that their wages and salaries do not keep up with inflation. Especially retired people, their money buys less and less every day. So if they are on a fixed income, it means they will have to cut down on the things that they buy, and their money still remains the same, while the price of goods and services keep rising every day. Right? And then we go to the summary of our lesson, learners. So we said hepatitis A is a contagious liver disease that is caused by the hepatitis A virus and can cause mild to severe illness. Right? And then we also said food additives are natural or chemical substances that are added to food products during the processing and production process. Right? A stokvel is a club made of a group of people who contribute to a common cause. Right? And food security exists when all people have access at all times to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food to maintain an active life. Right, learners? We have come to the end of our revision lesson. I will meet you in the next lesson. Thank you for watching.